What's going on, people? Welcome to the full view, bang on time, apart from a couple minutes because of KG, but that's customary. That's what it is. That's what it always is.
You're not me, fam.
You're not in the country. Obviously, you got technical plugging in.
I was here. I was here. Me and Kenny. There's someone that's not here.
The record suggests that
because the record can say, and that's why I said let's start the show because you're not going to start this crap. Marcel's going to show up and I'm going to get the blame for it, fam. It's disgusting. So I said,
very prickly. I know we lost yesterday, but there's no need to be so prickly. I know. You know what I mean? We're all on the same team here.
Nah, because I had to go through some StreamYard things and I've done it, and that's why I was taking the show in the back end with you lot.
Nah, KG was here. Big him up to it. Big him up. Kenny is in 35 degrees heat, 38 degrees heat. Kenny, how you doing?
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Wicked, yes. And Owen, of course, off the back of back-to-back WrestleMania.
I am fueled by caffeine. I've barely slept for like 48 hours. Oh my goodness me. Then I wake up this morning, we're talking about sale for Manchester United. WWE's been sold. Oh my goodness me. Merged with the UFC. What a day. The Rain Group.
Look at KG's face. He has no idea of the news. He has no idea.
Did you hear that? Did you know that, KG?
Your channel must be booming. Wait. What? WrestleMania didn't sell?
Yeah, been sold. And not only that, it's merging with UFC. It's merging with UFC.
That's easy to just go over there, isn't it?
So for more on that, check out Owen Wrestling 365.
Check out the channel. Yeah, check out the channel.
KG wanted to turn that into a whole podcast where he's like, so tell me what happened. You're a disgrace to cheat. You should be subscribed. You should have the bell notifications on Owen's channel where you should know. That proves you're a bad friend.
I've got the bell notification on, but I'm in the hot sun. I went on his WrestleMania stream. Shut up, bro. Where were you?
I did actually. You did.
Where were you?
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, look at Mina. Mina says, does Owen go to a black barber? That trim. She's saying the trim is trimming. the fade is fading.
Fade is
fading. Do you know what, guys? I'm glad we've got like the fun bit. Marcel is on his way as well, by the way, guys. So big up to everyone. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, as per usual. We have to talk. We've got to talk. I want to talk about a lot of things today in a serious way. Obviously, we are now in a fight for top four. Obviously, there's things wrong with the team that we know that are wrong with it. The away form continues to be abysmal against teams in the top 12. From Crystal Palace up, we've only beaten Fulham away from home. All the others are L's. Not even a draw. All the others are L's. Or actually one draw against Crystal Palace, to be fair, and Chelsea. But you get what I'm saying. Like, they've been really bad. And this fight for top four. Let's just get straight into it. KJ, I didn't get a chance to speak to you yesterday. Will we get the top four? Because that's a genuine question.
Nah, I feel we'll get the top four. I know it's crazy. It's peak times. Casemiro's a worry. The team without Casemiro is quite scary. And Eric Ten Hag made some mistakes yesterday. You know, that was that's one thing that you couldn't tell. Like, it's like, Eric, man, you were part of yesterday's result being the way it was, really. There's quite a few issues, you know. Now Martial's back. Hopefully is there any news? Is there any updates on Martial? Did he leave the pitch okay? Is Martial
everything
right?
Seems there's as of now, there's nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fingers
crossed.
Now,
he's normal.
As of now, Martial's back. We're gonna need we're gonna need him for the end, like for the last games of the season. Really, if we really want to cement our place, because we're starting to see. I think yesterday I saw Wegcall's trending, but it wasn't a positive trend. It was incredibly negative, you know. So yes, he works hard. Yes, there's so much he can offer us, but we're just lacking. You know, you saw we got cooked yesterday. I can't even blame yesterday's result. I can't even blame it on Wegcall. That would be taking the piss. But all over the pitch, midfield is a worry. And as soon as we change it up, when we have McTominay, we tried it even the last game. I think McTominay played with Sabitzer in the last game. It was overrun. What was the last game before we left? What was
Fulham.
that last game?
Fulham, and we was on the back foot the whole game until
lucky.
So it doesn't work, you know.
That was Fred. Who was playing in that? That was Fred and
no, Fred came on later. So
oh yeah, he did.
It started with McTominay and Sabitzer, and it doesn't work. That as a midfield cannot work. We've seen Sabitzer, Fred, Bruno, that was better. But this is it's not gonna work.
Kenny, in the fallout of yesterday, I know obviously you did your match reaction, but in terms of looking at us now and making sure we don't undo all our hard work, like Ten Hag literally said before that game yesterday, the season starts now. And actually, it's literally how our season did start with an L. Hopefully, there isn't too many of them to come. How are you feeling for us towards the top four, and what do you think needs to change in that time?
I'm not looking at us, to be honest, because it's difficult for us as fans, because we all saw it yesterday, but for whatever reason, Ten Hag's not seeing it, and we've said it all along for 2 seasons about Scott McTominay. We really lacked the urgency and Fred's. We needed Fred's tenacity yesterday in that midfield, and it wasn't there. We had nothing. And we were completely overrun. Willett, Longstaff, and there Bruno were a different level to us, and that was about energy. And our ability to transition. When we get the ball, I cannot knock our defence. Because they put the bodies on the line, and they're making they're making tackles, they're putting blocks in or whatever. But once we get that ball out of our area, we had zero going forward. So our transition was very poor. All I'm hoping for, and I said it at the end of my fan view last night, we're in the very fortunate position that Tottenham have got 6 very tough games coming up. They've got 6 games in April. 4 of them are really, really big games. So they've got Liverpool, they've got Newcastle, they've got ourselves, and they've got Brighton. Now that's 4 of the 6. The other 2 games,
Spurs got that.
Sorry?
Okay.
That's Spurs, right? Them are big games. Not taking nothing away from them. Them are big games. For them to win them 4 games, they'd have to be at the very, very best. What they've also got as well, they've got Bournemouth and they've got Everton tonight. Now, I am really hoping that Sean Dyche, I said it last night, does us a favour and takes a point, because this is how we have to look at it. Because we can't rely on ourselves. Let's go back 2 or 3 games. When we got trounced by Liverpool, that was a one-off. It wasn't a one-off. We was very lucky against Fulham. If Fulham had kept 11 men on that pitch, I don't think we would have won that game. I honestly don't think, because we never looked like winning it. So I'm heavily top. I think Newcastle, from what I saw yesterday, they have no injuries. They're going all the way through, and I think they will be comfortably third. Because they have real momentum. We haven't got that momentum. And yesterday we looked like a team that in certain parts was lacking confidence. What I think we need the likes of Sancho to step up to the mark. And as much as we all love Vegas, we've said it before, he's another Donny. Donny's failed to deliver. Donny van der Beek, but we all love him. Vegas is what he is, but we now need the likes of Sancho to step up. And he's got to start the likes of Sancho and Marcel, and they've got to come to the fore. If they don't come to the fore, then we will struggle for top 4. But I'm relying on other teams against Tottenham to do us big favours.
Marcel, you there? We got you. I'm not sure if that's stable enough. No,
I've got better.
We've got
technicals.
We've got Marcel through frosted glass. I mean,
Marcel, Cam said he's in the hospital. Are you all right?
Marcel's got.
I'm hoping.
He's got sort of toilet window kind of settings at the moment.
Is there?
Yeah. I don't know, the Wi-Fi, or I don't know if you got hotspot from your phone, Marcel.
No, don't do that. Not from the phone. It's never.
The Wi-Fi is really bad.
It's growing. It's getting.
It's. I think you're going to grow into the game.
It's growing into the game.
Yeah. Yeah. He's hearing us about 5 minutes later as well, I think. Yeah. Just see how you get on, Marcel, and then I'll ask you a question and see if it correlates.
Oh man.
If you lot start hitting calls to prayer and stuff, it's just the country.
Yeah. Of course. Oh yeah, you're in Turkey. Yeah. Also, for me, I saw Cam today. I had an argument with Cam today. Me and Cam had a bit of a shouting match today. Off camera, obviously. Because I was just annoyed at like the things that I see wrong. And it did go back to the De Gea thing. And Cam didn't go in on De Gea in a tactical view, but obviously the point that he makes, and he showed me the clip of when we first conceded. And obviously he said, look at De Gea, his touch here was rubbish. Then he says he passes it and he passes it to Varane and doesn't put enough pace on it. So it's not on Varane's proper foot, so that Varane has to take a touch. And then that makes Varane kick it out. Then the thing fast forwards about, 25 seconds, 35 seconds, where I saw a midfielder who's supposed to be a midfielder called Scott McTominay, who was trying to clear it and couldn't. Then the ball went somewhere else, and then Varane comes out, tries to clear it and couldn't. Then somebody else didn't. Fast forward 35 seconds. Anyway, we conceded. So I had an argument about that because I was like, listen, Varane's my guy. He's won 4 Champions League. You can't tell me that pass was so bad that he didn't know what to do. Like, come on. Anyway, but here's the thing. Bruno is an issue because Ten Hag's playing him in his wrong position. Bruno is not good enough to play as a 6. He's not. Bruno's not good enough to play deeper. Bruno's not good enough or doesn't have the skill set, to be fair to him. It's nothing he's ever done before with us, to play deep, come get the ball off the back 4, control the tempo of the game, and win duels in there. Like, when you're up against people who are powerful runners and thoroughbred central midfielders, Bruno can't play that deep. He can't. So I don't get why Erik ten Hag keeps. It's in some ways it's a testament to Bruno because he's got good attitude and he rubs off well on the team and he'll do a job anywhere and he's professional and stuff like that. And he's important to us. And he's quite versatile. That Ten Hag's basically saying, "I'll move you. I'll put you to the right when we're in a bit of trouble. I'll put you in the 6 because there's no Casemiro, there's no Eriksen." And for me, I'm like, that just doesn't work. He doesn't have the physical ability attributes to play that deep. He doesn't have the passing range. He doesn't play quick enough passes. It's just not his game. I think he needs to play in the 10 because that's his position. That's where you get the best out of Bruno. So that's an issue. Then I think also our midfield, just in general, we have nobody, especially when Christian Eriksen ain't there. And Christian Eriksen can only do so much as a 30-year-old. But, he still can do it. But we have nobody that can dictate the tempo. We don't have good ball carriers in midfield. Fred is not that. McTominay is not that. Sabitzer is supposed to be a bit, but he's trying to get there. I don't see that. I look at Casemiro, and obviously when he's there, look, the stats don't lie. We don't really lose when he's playing. But then when I see like the lack of players of like the Frenkie de Jong and like the players like that, I'm like, it doesn't work. The midfield's not right. When McTominay come in there and he's asking him to play further forward, awful, so bad. So I think midfield is the big problem, and then obviously the striker situation where we're playing with 10 men. We are just like we're playing with 4 men on this stream.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say I've been staring at Marcel the whole time, to be honest.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. And it's like what Jason says here. Our midfield went from Casemiro and Eriksen and Bruno to yesterday's game. Exactly. And it's like we're in big trouble when that happens. Big trouble.
Big
you
trouble.
Know what I'm saying? Big trouble. The L in Marcel stands for low speed internet. Yeah, he is absolutely struggling. In fact, we've got to take him out. We can't just have him pending. Marcel's pending. How mad is that? He's pending. Yeah. Marcel, hopefully he comes back in. But yeah, I know everyone talks about the De Gea thing, and I'm not naive enough to think that, at the right time, that's fine, change him, all of that. But you can't tell me. That's what I'm exactly. You can't tell me. This is what I was talking about with Cam.
Yeah.
You can't. He was the reason why it wasn't another Liverpool. He was the reason why it wasn't another 7-0.
He made some proper set, and this is what I talk about with the goalpost, pun intended, being shifted. Is that so? He makes a double save in the first half, and people go, "Yeah, but it's right at him." It's always the weird thing now I've noticed is any save he makes, it's any goalkeeper can make them. If any goalkeeper can make them, why is he always making them on a consistent basis? And also yesterday, I get it. They exposed him when it came with crosses in the box, and we know that he's not good at coming for crosses. And a couple of times he had to bail himself out the shit yesterday. And when he touches it on the bar, the problem he doesn't come with the ball. But at the same time, it's just
the problem.
It's so easy to say. Sorry, Ken. It's just so easy to say that, oh yeah, we lost because of De Gea. I mean, you look at we lost yesterday.
No, we didn't lose because of De Gea. No chance.
Our midfield got overran. There was spaces galore. Luke Shaw, we were worried about the right hand side, San Maximan versus Dallo. We're talking about the left hand side.
Cam, that's not true. Cam, that's not true. I got to call you out on this, Cam. That is not true. If you're looking at the reason why we didn't play well against Newcastle yesterday, because he didn't come for crosses, that's just not true.
Tell Cam to come on and demand.
Cam, I don't know if we can send Cam the link. If you're just at home,
Cam,
that's like I will. The thing is, I will 100%. I won't do this rose tinted thing of acting like De Gea's kicking's good or whatever.
No,
we had no midfield and no striker. St James's.
Flex yesterday. The first half we got absolutely overrun. They had 11 shots to our 2. In the second half, at 60 minutes, that game was fading out. The problem yesterday originated from a pass from De Gea to Varane, but that shouldn't have been the game plan. The game plan from Ten Hag was not playing out from the back, was to get the ball forward. Whatever happened, right? They're playing under instruction from Ten Hag to play out from the back. No, that game was over with at 60 minutes. They had 3 players waiting to come on to change the game. The game would have been nullified. I don't care what anybody says. But when you start to try to play football, again, from out the back, we're bringing it on ourselves. So for me, Ten Hag should have said, when we get a dead ball kick or whatever, get it in their half. Let's play football in their half. Because all we've done for 45, 50 minutes is play football in our own half, scrambling defence. So I don't put it on De Gea, I don't put it on Varane. The problem was, once we had nullified the game, we invited them into the game again. And we invited them. You've already named it. We'll make, McTominay couldn't clear the ball. Varane couldn't clear the ball. De Gea couldn't clear the ball. So why the hell are we looking to clear the ball out of our goal area? Get the ball up. The mistake came originally from a goal kick. That goal kick should have been punted right up and chased, not trying to play out.
There's a lot of super chats here.
They said Marcel censored, fam. That is so funny. No,
Marcel's...
but wait.
Hold on. Let me get these super chats out first, and you can carry on, because I don't know. Marcel's on something else.
Marcel should just give up.
Suhas, he should. Suhas says players were playing nice flex touch them. We are screwed now. Basilo says serious discussion about Sancho. We will be talking about Jaden Sancho during the show. Jesus. We have to talk about Jaden Sancho. De Gea is hampering our play badly, and Ten Hag does not know everything. Sticking with Wout. I don't think he's sticking with Wout. He's just waiting to make sure Marcel won't pop down again. That's all he's doing. Yeah.
The bigger issue on top of that, I wanted to maybe finish the super chat. So
let me finish these. RK, hold that thought so you don't forget. RK says, knew we were losing the next 3. The moment we lost Casemiro, Brentford will run over if we don't change. By the way, haven't scored in the league since February. Yeah, we're on a slump. We are on a slump in the league now. Since the 7-0 and obviously the Casemiro red card, we are on a slump. Sati says people focused on Wout, but midfield was the main issue. The whole team was dysfunctional, including Rashford. Yeah, he was very poor yesterday. Eric Ten Hag subbing Martinez and Varane, nullified clearances and aerial. Casemiro, Eriksen can book us top 4. Yeah, I think Ten Hag he was like, I'd rather lose 2-0 trying to get a draw out of this than he just went for it, didn't he? And then everything goes in the sink then. Bay says, Bruno not even good enough to play 10. Laughing emoji, crying emoji, should I say. Max says, McTominay has become the Jones of the fan base. MB10 left his man open in the press, and that led to players shifting out of position to cover. Bay says, what happened to your captain and leader, KG? And Basilo says, inaccurate Owen. On the second goal, he does not come out to catch the ball, creates a goal mouth melee so he can perform a great save. Sentiments aside. And Priest of Banter says, Eric, new manager bounce is over. Reality.
Wow.
It's not with the De Gea award. Sorry, KG, just before that, because he said it in the super chat. It's not sentiment. I look at March, right? The March we had, that could have been even worse than it was, because a couple of those games, talk about Fulham, right? David De Gea stops that from being 3 or 4-0. And it was the same yesterday. And granted, yeah, he made some mistakes yesterday, but why is everyone only focusing on the mistakes that he made and not everyone else on the pitch? The second goal, should he come out for it? Yes. But also I look at the centre-backs there and I say, the person's going to head it across goal.
There's none
the
there.
Centre-backs, they're all ball watching. You know he's going to head it across goal. Look for your man. Anticipate the ball coming across. Don't just stand there watching. So everyone's at fault, but my frustration is that when we lose, or like yesterday, it's just De Gea's fault, when clearly that's not reflective of the game. It was everyone, and particularly, again, there was no midfield whatsoever. And I mean, Cam would say he plays well and everyone else is shit, but it's not, for a person that says stat man, I know you can throw me some stats and all that kind of stuff, but I just feel it's, the stats can be manipulated to whatever agenda you want to. David De Gea this season multiple times has made big saves. And again, this isn't to say that we shouldn't get a new goalkeeper, but I just think it's nuts. I think it's crazy that literally the takeaway from yesterday is that, oh, it's terrible.
This guy needs to stop trying, fam.
Marcel?
It's like, wow, we're course, bro.
Marcel?
Look at him.
You're an absolute disgrace. You're a cheat.
Marcel?
It's not.
Nah, Marcel, I'm sorry, man.
It's not working, man.
Hey, bro. It's not working, Marcel. It's not, man.
It's not.
Just let it go, man.
It's like taking 2 centre-backs off and putting Lindelof on. It's just not working.
Yeah, relegate him, man. Relegate him.
Marcel, I think if your 4G works, Marcel, just get in the comments or something.
KG, you were saying your point there because I cut you off.
Sorry, bro. Sorry, Marcel.
No, there's a few issues, and I think I get it, guys. It's like we can't always go to super extremes, and that's me getting to the extreme positive at times, a lot of the times, right? But we have to remember what that midfield looked like. We got we got players that don't play in those positions. First, you've got Bruno. You got Bruno playing a 6. He's not a 6. You've got Sabitzer trying to play. They're trying to make Sabitzer play in a position that he hasn't even identified his position in his Man United team, if we're being honest. But he'll be more of a 10 than anyone in this team, but he's not played there. Or even if you say, yeah, he can play the 8, but we're not really seeing Sabitzer should be playing a 10. If he's got a position that he wants to say is his, he'll probably be better suited to that. Likes to take long range shots, and you see how he is formed for his national team. He doesn't get to play like that here, and everything going for him. It's not working like that for him here. Then we got another player, McTominay, who, again, for Scotland, I don't know, but that's a different situation altogether. But you got 3 players in there that's not their game. Now, when you look at the real midfield that we had before in the Casemiros, Eriksen and Bruno, it works better. Then we have another issue on top of this. We have the issue of understanding. We all know that Weghorst is not a striker, but Weghorst is playing in a 10 right now. A lot of times he goes back to the 10, and it's like, how many times are you going to keep moving Bruno for him to be ineffective? His best position in his team, Bruno, is the 10. No one else should play there. It should be that simple. We have to work around him. We're moving our best player to accommodate.
Unless we bring someone else in who can give him genuine competition as a 10.
But we're moving our best player to accommodate what? And that's the part for me that's the part that's not making sense. So then after, again, there's the clip getting, who's the better Bruno? Bruno hasn't played in this position for a long time. That's the only, yes, that Bruno Gomes is good. But I'm saying that, look at our team now. It's not we have Bruno play out on the right, on the left. When is he going to get some rhythm in his actual position? So when he actually moves back, is he going to be sharp? Is he going to be the way he needs to be? There's so many. I think we have to, and the loss of Garnacho is another one, because we're going to have the Sancho conversation. Garnacho is a real first team player. He's been better in the team than Sancho's been. Then what do you call it? Would you say Garnacho's had a better season than Anthony? That's probably for another poll, But then this is where we are right now. We've lost some key players, and the Casemiro thing not working, and somehow he has to tear this up and go again. So if that means, Sabitzer plays in a 6 and he puts in Fred again, and for that Brentford game, he can't keep that midfield the same. He can't. And while for me, I'm sorry to say it, as a striker, look what thing he's offered. Gabriel Jesus has come back. You can see what a striker can do. They put Martinelli even in the striking position. You need that number 9 to help out. You need it.
Even when Marcel came on, we were better. Like just little bit, like obviously
and
the
Sancho,
midfield. Yeah, he did okay. I think that the midfield still wasn't right, and we were chasing shadows, and it's hard for Marcel to come in and turn that game on its head. But there were just a couple of half moments where you just saw, finally a striker. And that's no disrespect to Wout Weghorst, because he obviously is a striker, but it's like it's just not the level. It just isn't. It just isn't the level. But even on the Bruno thing, though, KG, just want to come in on that. Yeah, I just think until the midfield, even behind Bruno, like is fixed, like. Even if Bruno's playing in a 10 now, which I did say, like I said, he has to play in his position and nowhere else. 100% agree with that. But like until we get 2 proper 6s, but we've got 1. I know we've got Eriksen and Casemiro, so that gets us through, and that's our best midfield. We haven't had that for ages, so I'm talking in terms of exactly. So hopefully, I agree with whoever said that during the chat. When Eriksen comes back and Casemiro comes back, you would think that should be enough to just get us over the line. 100%, way better team. But even in general, this shows you so much that we need. I'm going to say another 2 top-class central midfielders.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And I say
Absolutely.
central midfilders, not just goals and assists. I mean facilitators of play who can say, right, when the chips are down, I'm gonna run with my back towards goal, towards my own goal, collect that ball on the half turn. No one can rush me. No one can shrug me off the ball. No one can force me into a mistake and get us playing. I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to drive 15, 20 yards, win a foul. Then we're higher up the pitch. We don't have that. Casemiro has been taking the piss out of the league.
Nothing.
Yeah, Flex, I totally agree. And what we're trying to do is play football. The goal yesterday, we was trying to play football into our own box. We could not transition play yesterday. We could defend admirably, putting blocks in or whatever. But once we got the ball, we never got over the halfway line. Weghorst had 7 touches in the game. 7 touches. Now, we can criticise him all we want, but there's nobody there to transition that ball. So we know when we've got Casemiro and Eriksen, they're both comfortable taking that ball off the defence and transitioning play. They can work through the lines. Scott McTominay was all right against Cyprus, against semi-professionals. Put him against the likes of Willett Longstaff and Bruno. He was completely outplayed. He looked lost. It was the same against Fulham. It took him off against Fulham. It took him off early because he got absolutely run over. So for me, if we are going to try to get anything out of a game, we've got to play football in their half. And if that means the long ball for the rest of the season until Casemiro and Eriksen come back, then so be it. Defend the ball in their half, not our half, because we can't do it. We can win the ball back, but we cannot transition play. We cannot create from our own defence. Very, very poor, sadly. But
can we do a poll as well, please? I just want to get the vibe and understand what's going on with the community, because obviously I'm seeing a lot of people saying Bruno's the issue. I mean, the poll should be simple. Is Bruno the problem? Should he be dropped? You know what I mean? Because
you can't drop him now for who?
No, but I wouldn't know. Yeah. No, but I wouldn't know what the community is saying, because I can see what is getting on the thing. I'm saying, bro, let's give a voice to that. I'm in the other group where I don't really feel that he's the problem. I feel where he's playing is a problem. I feel that players should be in their true positions. But let's just see what they're saying.
Remember that time though? Do you remember that time when I think it was before Ten Hag came. Owen's obviously the one with the best memory out of all of us. He remembers everything. Yeah. Do you remember what period was it when I was saying that Bruno, it's going to be interesting to see as the team develops around ball retention, that when the goals and assists dry up with Bruno, how does he impact on the team? Because I was always saying goals and assists, 100%. He's the best at impacting the game. When it's all said and done and the 95 minutes are over and everyone's walking home, you go, wow, Bruno got an assist. Wow, Bruno got a goal. Wow, Bruno did this in the end. But in terms of facilitating the play, building up the play, keeping possession in a different style of football, when his goals and assists go, how does he impact the game? And I think I remember saying, I think it was it before Ten Hag came? I said that.
I'm not sure, but I think the discussion was also about him playing percentages, wasn't it? The concern is, and he still does do this, not as much, but it was like, sometimes there, particularly in the Ollie era, it would just be Hollywood pass after Hollywood pass, trying stuff deep in his own half that he does not need to be trying, that kind of stuff. And he has cut that out to an extent, but you're right. Particularly when he plays deeper, like in that first half where Ten Hag, for whatever reason, decided to play McTominay at more advanced than Bruno. He doesn't influence the game. Yeah, he doesn't. If he's not close to goal, he doesn't influence the game enough. And also to steer it back to McTominay, I mean, there's all this rumors about Newcastle wanting him. I messaged Flex during the game. I went, they can have him. Because honestly, I'd love to know how many passes he completed yesterday. His touch, his passing,
5-yard passes.
Yeah, exactly, Kenny. It was horrendous. And to Kenny's point, you're always going to lose the game. Well, not only is your midfield getting overrun, but when you do have the ball at your feet, you can't get past the halfway line because you give it away. So your defense doesn't have a chance to get up. Your defense doesn't have a chance to set or actually move up. I mean, maybe we created a few chances, half chances in the first few minutes of the first half, but after that, he was shocking, absolutely shocking. And I think when we're talking about the midfield and Casemiro and Eriksen, you're right. We need more there. And our backup, maybe they're not as good as Casemiro or Eriksen, but we know they can play with the ball at their feet. Because that's our worry, really, isn't it? When Casemiro's out, Eriksen's out, we know what we've got, can't do what the manager wants to do. I'm fine for sort of a below par player, but we know he's comfortable with the ball at his feet. And technically, he can hold on to the ball. He can do the bare minimum. Because what those players that are playing yesterday, particularly McTominay, and to an extent Sabitzer, I do sympathise because he was trying to cover a lot of space because there were so many holes. But again, it's just, they can't, some of these players can't do what the manager wants. And these are the teething pains we're going to have, aren't we? Because, come the summer, there was a story today about Ten Hag wanting United to be ruthless in the players that go in the summer. That's what they've got to be. Because we've had a hint of what it can be, but we're still going to be stuck in this sort of middle ground whereby there are still these players at the club that can't do it.
But
this also shows you
being ruthless. So it's Ten Hag being ruthless. Come on, young Iqbal hasn't had a chance. Young Iqbal, he got rid of Garner, right? And Garner went on the tour. Young Garner was, he was. Everybody was raving about young Garner. If I'd have given you three a choice yesterday, would you have young Garner in that team or Scott McTominay? I think most people would have put young Garner in that team, let alone Scott McTominay. And we've got rid of him. So when we're talking about being ruthless, Ten Hag's got to be ruthless. How many chances does Scott McTominay have? You take him off against Fulham because he's garbage, and he was garbage. You put him in the big game yesterday. Everybody, not a person that I've spoken to or watched or whatever, has given any praise to him. Yet the likelihood is he's still going to be playing a Wednesday night against Brentford. So Ten Hag has got to be ruthless. Let alone
we can't. I don't know how good Garner has been because it's even.
He hasn't even got a shout at Everton. He hasn't. But
no, he hasn't.
But here's the
what
thing.
I'm saying is when he was here, Iqbal, look at young Iqbal. What's young Iqbal done wrong? No,
I think to me, Kenny, football. I don't even look at it as, because look, the thing with the youngsters is like it is exceptionally hard for them to play the top level men's game. Like except like we know that, don't we? Like like these kids have to be outstanding just to even train with the first team. I think I was saying that to Owen. We was talking about something the other day. I was like, do you know how good you have to actually be just to train with the first team? But like to actually play in the big games though for Man United, it's tough because you're always going to pick experience over someone who's not done it. But
we had two goalkeepers on the bench yesterday. We had two goalkeepers. It's not
there.
Bench.
Yeah.
Why? So why could young Iqbal not take one of them places?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
If we're playing that bad,
but then he's never going to chuck him in against Newcastle away.
No, I'm not saying he's not. He's not. But you had no options. You've no options. We had no options yesterday. You looked at that bench. It was terrible. Bad. It was bad.
Even Newcastle,
very, very fortunate.
Look at Newcastle's midfielders, and this shows you about Clash of Stars because Eddie Howe's only been there a year and a few months, now. And he made Joe Linton into a powerful six. Longstaff, who we used to laugh at when we were linked with him in 2019.
We used to laugh at
Joe
Willock at United.
Joe Willock, who couldn't do nothing at Arsenal. Yeah. And obviously, they spent money on Bruno Guimaraes. You can't tell me that they're outstanding players, but when the system is working and players are working in tangent, they can be effective. They're less reliant on the individual brilliance, i.e., give the ball to Bruno, make something happen. But they've got powerful runners, and the way that their team plays. I'm not saying we need to try to play like Newcastle. I'm not saying that.
No.
What I'm saying is that it's interesting to see how if you do get a group of players who are of a similar skill set going in the right direction, you can actually get a tune out of them. Because I remember laughing at Sean Longstaff. I remember laughing at Joe Linton.
Yeah, exactly. He was linked with us for 2 seasons. Dan Burn played at Wigan Athletic. Dan Burn played in the Championship. Dan Burn he revels in that system, and he knows how to get the better to them players. So he doesn't have Dan Burn as like we say. Oh well, if you put
Jacob Murphy was right wing. Jacob Murphy.
You know what's funny?
You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny in this situation? Newcastle were better than us. Even it's funny in the FA Cup game, they were better than us in terms of their approach to goal. But then there's a lot of we're carrying players, and then there's been a lot of carrying. A lot of people upset at the Lowe's performance on the weekend. We haven't brought it out. We haven't spoken about Delo, Sancho. There's players. There's so many. You know when you can't. You know when it's in these situations with our team. If we're going to have a passenger, there could only really honest be like one. Mate, at the most 2. Man United, most of the team were passengers yesterday. So now it comes to application. You look at Man United lost 7-0 to a Liverpool side that are not that good. And why? It's application in certain games. And certain times.
And they haven't won since.
Yeah, and certain times Man United just need to, because the whole team, the whole 11 let themselves down in that game against Newcastle. The whole 11, there's no one, because as you say, when you talk about these players, you're not talking about like incredible superstar world beaters. You're just talking about a team that was well-oiled and ready to go. This is still a Newcastle that haven't been good and they were worrying, are we going to get top 4? Now the top 4 has become a bit more of it's more of a race, but we got to say who we're racing against. You know, it's us versus Spurs versus Newcastle. Man United, we have to kick through this and get through these games. Now, are you going to say that Newcastle are going to win every game from now to the end of the season?
That's why it's not.
Are Spurs going to do it? No, you know what I mean? So Man United, I'm not going to now say it's all ruined. It's all not going to work. Our manager demands high standards and he'll get those. Those players won't be allowed to drop another like those type of performances where you're bad for 2 halves. It can't happen.
Yeah, but it is massively. What I will say though is I agree with you. This ain't panic stations are maybe Eric Ten Hag's not doing a good job. Absolutely not. That's not what this is about. Let's clear that one up. But for me, I think it is a common theme that we are still got soft bellies away from home against teams who put it on us. Fact.
That's exactly
Fulham did it, and we got away with it.
It could have been 7. I mean, it could have been the Liverpool result yesterday.
Exactly. It could have been the same thing.
It could have been the Liverpool result yesterday. If Newcastle, make no mistake, you look at the chances they missed, and they missed, sitters yesterday. It could have been 3. It could have been 4. It could have been 5. It maybe could have been more than that. Let's be honest, right? So to your point, Flex, I think you're right. And I was talking to someone about this today, that there is still something there in that core of players. I don't even know if you can put it to one person individually. There's still something there whereby away from home, big grounds with an intense atmosphere, whether it's Anfield, whether it's, even you can talk about empty ad, all that kind of stuff. Manchester Derby, the atmosphere's up, whether it's Newcastle, St. James's Park, a little bit of pressure. They collapsed. Arsenal was the same. They played all right that day, but still didn't get the job done. Those big games, those pressure moments. And to be honest, look, it's good to do it at home. And our home record's been great this season, but it's easy when you've got 78,000 people cheering you on, spurring you on. What really sets it apart is when you can go to those away grounds, hostile atmospheres, and you don't just completely melt. You don't completely just wither at the first sign of pressure or press, whatever it may be. And there's just something there. And because to be honest, when we played Barcelona away in the Europa League, I thought, right, they've overcome that, because that was a hostile atmosphere and they played well and they should have won that game. But in the Premier League, there is just something about, again, still this there's something in there where it's just, again, away from home, hostile atmosphere. I don't know if it's a mentality thing. I'm not sure. But it's just, it's concerning because basically, if you're saying that we're not basically going to win many away games for the rest of the season, we've got to be perfect.
Cam's saying that the away record's bad because they keep crossing it to highlight De Gea's deficiencies and they make it nervy. And then when nobody can keep the ball, it gets worse. So basically, it's De Gea's fault first, and then the rubbish midfielders and the part-time striker that we got up front.
I can tell you now,
if we are struggling to play football in the midfield, don't play football in the midfield. Bypass our midfield because our team, we've already mentioned, we know Bruno's not a 6, he's a great 10. Get the ball up to him there. Put him up there and get the ball up to him, right? And if that means a long pass is coming back from Martinez and Varane, so be it. Stop trying to play football with McTominay and Fred and even Sabitzer because between them, they've proven over a number of years that they cannot transition play. So you've got to get the ball up the field a lot quicker. And if we have to defend in their half, not our half, because we're just bringing on defensive errors all the time. And it's, Martinez went off the field yesterday. Did you see him? He was that angry. I think he kicked the chair or whatever. And he would have been so frustrated because that lad and Varane, all they were doing all day was putting in last-ditch defensive tackles.
Yeah, getting cooked.
People in
constant pressure.
Could not get exactly constant pressure.
And the same happened in wide areas because Dalot and Shaw were so exposed because again, especially Dalot. Dalot. People say Dalot got cooked in one-on-one deals. Listen, we already knew we didn't fancy him against St. Maximum straight away. As soon as Wan-Bissaka weren't there, we thought, oh bloody hell. Here we go again. But then on top of that, the level of protection that sometimes comes his way just wasn't there. It really wasn't there. And the same on the other side with Marcus Rashford, probably didn't put in a hard enough shift as well to help Luke Shaw. And again, that's against Jacob Murphy. We need to speak though. We need to speak about Jaden Sancho. People want to talk about it. We've got to talk about Jaden Sancho. There was reports today from Samuel Luckhurst saying that Erik ten Hag is becoming increasingly impatient with Jaden Sancho. We're not here to slander. We're here to talk about the situation. Yeah. KG, I'll start with you. Start with KG, Kenny, and then we'll come over to you.
No problem, man.
KG, what? Sancho.
Maybe go to Kenny because I don't know if you lot pick it up.
Okay.
Are you not picking it up?
No, a little bit, tiny, not really.
Okay,
go on, Kenny.
Sancho came on the other week. Yeah, sorry.
one of you talk about Sancho.
No, he came on the other week and he played well. And it's easy to pick and choose. We know the lads have problems. Now, whether it be physical or psychological, we don't know. But what I will give praise to the lad is the lad's accepted that he's got problems and he's tried to go away and resolve them. He's gone away and he's trained. He's gone away and he's seen psychologists or whatever. All right, we've got other, and I'm not putting him against some of the players, but we've got people like England. Plays for England. Is one of our centre backs, and people are having a go at Sancho when our beloved Harry Maguire comes on, does interviews and says that he sees himself. As everybody criticising me? I'm good. I'm Harry Maguire. I'm the best defender and I've scored more goals, etc., etc. So I would give young Sancho a break from that respect. Yeah, it's not been what we expected. I take that, but when I've seen him play, I've seen the lad play okay. I've not seen him have howlers. I've not seen him have stinkers. Should it be better for 80 million? That's not his problem that we paid 80 million pounds for him. But at some stage in the last 6, 7, 8 games of the season, he's got to step up to the mark now. He's got to step up to the mark because there is that expectation. I look at Anthony. I thought Anthony played all right yesterday. I did. I don't think he
shouldn't have taken him off. Shouldn't have taken him off.
I thought he was a bright spark. I thought he was our only outlet. If I'm being honest.
He was cooking Dumbo. He was the only person.
Yeah, cooking him. So for me, I would give young Sancho a break, and I'd start the lad because Vegas had 7 touches yesterday. You put Sancho on the field. He's not a number 10, and I know we want Bruno at number 10, but he's tried him at number 10, and I would have Sancho at number 10 before I would have Vegas. And I like Vegas is hard work kid. No, I would, because what's Vegas doing? He's not doing anything.
Vegas played up front yesterday. The actual number 10 yesterday in the first half was Scott McTominay, basically as the most furthest advanced. Yeah. And then in the second half, he started with Bruno further forward, but by then It just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. KG, your view? We'll all have our say on this because I think it's important. What's your view?
It's one. I've got to this stage with Sancho where I'm just wondering, like, he came here to be the number 7. He came here to be the main guy, and he clearly isn't that. You know, he's not. He's behind Garnacho in the team. Yes, he's getting in there ahead of Facundo, but then you're asking him, what's he doing when he gets in? He should be making this team be about him. He should be the star boy. He should be the guy that we chase for a summer and a half. You know, we haven't seen that. Anyone that says they've seen that is just telling lies at this moment. You know, we didn't bring him in to, is it gonna, like, we thought it was a sure banker. We're talking about one of the best players he was one of the best youngsters in world football 2 years ago. Where is that player gone? That's the issue for me. It's like, when we talk about going wide, Sancho, we didn't bring Sancho here to be a number 10. Sancho should be killing it either on the left or on the right. But when he's not killing it at all. So that's where we just have to look at it where it is. Sancho has to find his form, or he can't be in his team anymore. It's that simple.
But where'd you put him? Where'd you put him?
Well, he has to find his team. He has to be able to play on the left or the right. This
you want Rashford on the left.
I would Rashford as a striker. I would rather Rashford play as a striker than the position that you can like. Let the best players play where they need to be. You know, right now we're saying, you know what, maybe, I don't know, Sancho can link up with Weghorst and they can find a few good times. No, Sancho, you come in, when we looked at you, when we was all excited about you, everyone believed was getting a wide-sided player. We haven't got that. And it's like, when we're waiting for his confidence and everything to click, and yes, like, I won't be revision, because if he turns out and starts being great, we'll all say, you know, congratulations to Sancho, but we have not seen that player. It hasn't, as it stands now, it has not worked. If we're going to be truly honest with this situation, it hasn't worked for Sancho. We're waiting. We're going to be a patient team, but at some point, he has to reward the fans for the patience.
Just before we carry on that, just breaking news in the last couple of minutes or so. We kind of knew it already, but Luke Shaw's deal has been made kind of official. That Athletic have gone with. Luke Shaw has now signed. This is Laurie Whitwell. Luke Shaw has now signed his new contract, long-term future sorted at Man United. He signed a new 4-year contract, which obviously we reported on that on Friday, I think it was. But we kind of knew that, but that's another conversation as well. I mean, I was happy with that. I think Luke Shaw's been doing well, but actually, ironically, in the last little period, which seems to happen anytime signs, you know, contract extensions. It's a weird thing at Man United, isn't it? Like, you know, people, I remember after Bruno's immediate contract signing, it was bad. Obviously, the whole team was bad then.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford's going to be up for renewal, probably going to sign a new deal. Are we going to see anything like what we've seen this year, which is a bit of an anomaly? Probably not. Dallow's potentially going to sign a new deal. Looks quite likely. We're starting to see question marks about him. Do we need to have some serious conversations? Or do we need a team where we need it to be and then start judging? But there is a lot of, that means we are basically saying we're going to go in that direction again with Luke Shaw for a long time.
It's just funny though, isn't it? Because like, it's funny how timing can work with football. Because make no mistake, had we beaten Newcastle yesterday and that news come out, people will be going, "Oh, it's great. Luke Shaw's been great this season." Obviously, we lost, and now it's like, well, actually, I'm not sure about Luke Shaw. Maybe
and the last couple of games, he's been a bit.
He's played well this season. He's in the best.
Skinned him yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. He's in the best physical shape he's been in a long time. He's become versatile this season as well. He's a centre back option too, so I don't have any issues with him signing a new contract. Just to touch on what KG was saying about Sancho, I really don't know how I feel about it, honestly, at the moment, because I think that I have a lot of sympathy for clearly what he was going through earlier on this season. He lost his way, and he spent that time in the Netherlands and came back, and he came on and he scored, didn't he? And everyone said, right, we're going to see Jaden Sancho. We're going to see what we paid for.
Leeds, isn't it? Yeah.
But at the same time, I suppose you could say he hasn't had a run of games where he's starting over and over again. But to KG's point, you have to kind of remember what we thought we were buying and what he was doing at the time at Dortmund. His numbers at Dortmund were incredibly impressive. And also, like, when he was playing at Dortmund, then he'd play for England. We go, look at him. He's proper. Now, he is nowhere near that England squad. And I know getting near the England squad, it doesn't really matter about quality because Southgate picks who he wants. But still, I don't know if United knew what they were buying at the time, because they bought him to play on the right-hand side. And unless you're playing a system that's not about taking on the fullback, it's about possession, building up the play and that kind of thing, he would maybe suit better. But he's not going to take people on. If we have the expectation for him to take people on, that's not going to happen. I don't know. And he's on big wages. Look, he's on 350k
for me,
and he's on the bench.
My thing for Sancho, I'm extremely worried for him. I'm going to say it. I'm extremely worried for him. I mean, I know I've had loads of chats in private, like when just talking on the phone or in person with KG and Owen about Sancho. I like Jaden a lot. I think he's got a lot of ability, but I think Ten Hag doesn't fancy him. I don't. I'll say what I think. What I, in my opinion, from seeing it. I mean, I'm not surprised to hear noises that Ten Hag is becoming impatient with. Now, in terms of what Kenny said, 100% agree. Like, I don't want to bail on Sancho because this is a young kid who, has come back home and has had some issues and he's had to go away. So as far as this season's concerned, it's probably going to be a write-off for him. But also in that time, unfortunately, because the football world, life keeps spinning, but in terms of the football and the team keeps developing. So you've seen young Garnacho come in and be exactly the type of winger that Ten Hag wants to see. Direct, go at your man, go past people, engage fullbacks, work with intensity. Anthony, Ten Hag will go with him every day of the week over Sancho. I'm telling you that now. If us trying to squeeze Sancho into a 10 doesn't show you everything what he thinks about him out wide at this stage, then we'll never see it. Ten Hag is saying you can't play on the left because Rashford is wicked. You also can't play on the left because there's this other kid called Garnacho who's doing exactly what I want. You can't play on the right because Anthony is intense. I've bought him here for a reason, and I know he's going to give me what I want in the long run. And even Anthony, we're like, we need more. I'm going to try and shoehorn you in into a 10 or like 2 8s. Hasn't worked, has it? Now, don't get me wrong. In a year's time, this is what I think we need to hope what happens. Otherwise, for me, I don't think Sancho will ever hit the heights. We need to hope that in the next, let's just say year, because you can't really count the rest of the season. Let's hope that from August, the next season, let's hope that all of next season, we buy players in the summer that get this team to where Erik Ten Hag wants it to be in terms of the patterns of play, the possession, the build-up play, and then there can be a space for him. But my gut feeling is that Erik Ten Hag wants wingers like what he brought in Anthony, so we know he wants that. He wants a Marcus Rashford or a Garnacho on the left. We've seen that. And I'm just very, very worried for him. I really am. The intensity of his game.
Apparently, it says, I just typed in on Google, Sancho Man United wages. It says that he's the second highest paid player at United. And his salary account accounts for a staggering 9.04% of United's weekly payroll.
You can't be on that. I'm sorry. I know, like, you have things going on.
It's not, and that's not his fault. He got that contract, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time,
if you're on that money,
you got to have influence.
You got to have it. You can't be a squad player. Let's be honest, yeah.
We've always had this.
He's a squad player.
We've always had this as United. Every so often we break the bank. We did it with Sanchez. Some would say about Pogba. Some would say exactly the same thing about Paul Pogba. A lot of people said Paul Pogba didn't work. Are you with me? And they would always quote his salary or whatever. It's not the lad's fault is that somebody's paying him £300,000 a week. But as we've said before, and what you've got to do is look at it from a practical point of view. Take the individual out of it. You've hit the nail on the head. He's got 2 left wingers that he likes, and he's got a right winger that he likes, and he's having to shoe on in another right winger that this manager didn't buy. This manager didn't buy him. So he's never going to get in above Anthony. And I like Anthony. I do like Anthony.
Kenny, we can't be revisionary. We can't. This is what it's funny. It's revisionist history what we're doing. Like, even the fact of, like, right now, I see the chat, everyone saying, like, they're blaming Woodward and that, saying, look what happened and the club's wage and structure and stuff. When we don't sign these players, we're mad. So we get a player. Remember, we're only going to get the player. We said, give him what he wants, bring him to the club. The only reason why it's a problem now is because he's not playing well. We can't keep kicking the bucket down the road. Let's focus on who the thing is on. If Sancho was scoring goals and doing what he's meant to be doing, no other issue of his wage. He's not the only. That was the issue.
But he's not KG. But he's not. That's the problem.
But it's on. No, but the thing is now, because we're talking about the thing of the club and this, that, and the other. Again, the club, the structure of the salaries. Yes, we pay a high wage. We've been paying high wage forever. But when we don't bring in these players, we complain because we can't. We want to bring in players.
I'm not saying we shouldn't have brought him in.
So long. I'm not saying what I'm saying is like we trying to. We'll get to this thing and we're like, man, this is why we're getting for players when we're not even in the Champions League. So what do you have to do? You have to give them top dollar because they have to have a reason to come here. So now they finally get here, and now these players have to perform. The pressure has to be put on the player, saying, "Hey, player, you need to deliver. We brought you here. We believed in you. You said you wanted a number 7 shirt. We want to see number 7 performances." It has to now. It's everyone.
Right now, Sancho's not even playing like a 77. Like he's
exactly.
He's way off it.
The whole team needs to take responsibility for their game. Yes, it could be an amount of games that have caught up with us because we played a lot of football. But the team, we can't use that as an excuse. We're riding high. 2-3 weeks ago, everyone was excited. Now we're getting to a place where we're getting through. We're having our supposed blip. We got to get through it. Batten down the hatches, as you like to say, and we can make it through it. And still
absolutely.
Absolutely. Like we have to get through. This is a rough moment, but the players, if they give more, if they can really dig deep and turn up and fight and win there, because we're not even winning our the second balls. There's so much that we're just allowing the game to pass us by. No, it can't run. It can't stand. These guys need to go in and finish the season off strong.
We're sounding like we did last season. We're sounding like we did last season as fans. All of a sudden, we're kind of like losing this inspiration from Ten Hag, and we're a little bit down there because we've had a couple of drubbings, and it's bad in a way. And I just hope that we can get over this. And I do hope it's a blip. Because deep down, we know what the problem is. And that the problem is that we haven't got Casemiro and Eriksen on that pitch. Deep down, that's the problem.
And Marcel.
No matter which way we look at it. And Marcel.
Yeah.
So you can and we can point the finger at Sancho. Yes, he should be doing more. We can point the finger at Maguire when he's asked to step up. Yes, you should be doing more. You were £80 million as well, right? So that's where we're at. We're at a situation now where over the next 2 months, we have got to get through this. And as a fan base,
I think we will.
I think we will, and we'll get through it. Our own form should take us through. The fans will rise to it. We will rise to it, and hopefully, like I said, Marcel won't break a toenail on Wednesday night and be fit again for the weekend or whatever.
Even Wednesday night, Kenny, that there against Brentford, I'll tell you what. Look what Fulham came and done to us. That is, again with no Casemiro. If you roll out McTominay again, hoping he's going to play well. I'm not saying Ten Hag's going to do this, but Fred's got to come in. Obviously, you would expect. Surely got to play. Sabitza's still trying to find his feet. You could just see it being a really uncomfortable night against Brentford. It's going to be Brentford have less losses than us this season, and they've had 13 draws. So Brentford are a bit like they're a draw specialist. Yeah,
team,
exactly.
If you look at them. We have got the worst goal difference. I'm not spoke about it yet. We've got the worst goal difference in the top half of the table. So in theory, you've lost a point. If you've got bad goal difference, you have lost a point, because if you tie on points, you lose on goal difference. So and I'll go back to my original statement. I'm more trusting in Tottenham performing badly to help us than what I'm relying on United to suddenly become good again. So I'm really hopeful that Tottenham in the next 6 games drop quite a few points against the top team.
But it wouldn't be the most unlike Tottenham thing for them to. I know, like we can say Tottenham are crap, the crisis, and I agree. I'm looking at the game tonight against Everton. I'm like, that's a tough game for them. I can't see them winning that.
Yeah, a draw.
But you know what though? With scummy Tottenham, you can just backs against the wall, whatever. Like Harry Kane header at the end.
New manager,
penalty.
New manager.
Or some form of bounce. Just because the pressure's gone and Conte's not there, being horrible anymore. They just play with a bit more freedom, and so you can't even rule out Spurs. Although we want to laugh at them, and we do, and rightly so. Like at the end of the day, they're 1 point behind us and on the same games, isn't it? I think. Or we got a game in hand of them. Like it's tight.
We have a game in hand. They got 2
Yeah.
points in front and a game in hand we have if they win.
Yeah. So it is.
The players?
What's that one?
Where are the players? The players? Where are the players?
This is unacceptable.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one. Run that
That's how
again.
they thought yesterday.
This is unacceptable.
The players?
Oh, we've come to the end of the show. Before we go, I do want to get them predictions or just very, very quickly your closing statement on the Brentford game, because make no mistake, guys, I'm not being pessimistic here. We must beat Brentford and
At
Everton.
home.
They're both at home. We have to win. We have to win. Owen, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Brentford Wednesday night.
Brentford
Not
Wednesday.
saying scoreline, but just how do you feel?
Will
yeah,
we win? Will we win?
Yeah.
I'm going to say we do win, and I'm saying that because we have to. Like, if we honestly, I'm not going to say if we drop points against Brentford that it's over or anything like that, because it's not. But if we do drop points against Brentford, we're in big, big trouble. Because you can lose a game or you can draw a game and other people will slip up and you'll get a bit lucky. You can't do it every week. We've kind of been doing that for a while now. We've dropped silly points against Leeds, against Southampton, against Palace. And yeah, it's but I think we'll win because we have to.
KG?
Super chats.
Yeah, I'm going to read those after this.
Yeah, listen,
forgotten
it is
anything.
a scary one. Eric Ten Hag needs to change things. If we can make the suitable changes, it can't be the team that, if it's the team that played on the weekend to prove a point, we'll lose. If he makes he has to make some big changes, make some big decisions. I think we can win that game.
Kenny?
2-1, Sancho to get the winner.
Oh, imagine.
I like that. I like that. Veghorst to get the first.
Yeah.
Let's not go
Off
crazy.
the bench. Off the bench.
And Maguire gets an own goal.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh, mate. I got a bad feeling about
2-1.
Wednesday. I think we'll. Oh,
Don't say lose.
I think we'll. Nah. I think we'll. You know what? I think we'll just about scrape it. Maybe 1-0, 2-1. Just about. Because one thing about us
It's a big
is,
game. What's
really weird about us is when we lose badly. When we win narrowly. Like that's just been this actually all season. What game have you say? Like, I know like there's been like Betis where we won like 4-1 at home and stuff like that, or like I think it was Leicester. In the end, it was 3-0, but it didn't feel like a 3-0. Like, do you know what I mean? We had games like that, but really, when it comes down to
goal
it,
difference,
when we lose, we lose.
Our
bad.
goal difference is +4. +4 our goal difference.
Jesus,
Terrible,
that's
that
terrible.
isn't it?
No, that's that
Terrible.
7-0. That's 7-0 mashed up.
Yeah, we've got some bad ones. Right, there was a big. There's a big batch of super chats here that I've got to get out. Let me get these out before we sign off, guys. Where do we start from? Tommy has become the Jones. Read that one. What about inaccurate Owen? Right, Max. I think Max says this defense of David De Gea reminds me of a certain CR7. So I'm not having it. A lot of people want De Gea out. Basilo says no one is saying it is just De Gea's fault. Just plain stat-wise, he is better than only 20 other keepers in the top 7 leagues. We need to evolve. Basilo says, seriously, how much better is Sabitzer than McTominay? Bay says, so now we have to unlock Bruno. Crying face. James says, Wout is Fellaini with a trim. Aminor says in the poll, is Sabitzer good enough to start in our midfield? I don't think we've got time to do that. Priest of Banter says, sentiments aside, we have stat machines instead of technical quality. That's why players like Rashford and Bruno can't take us to the level that we expect. K-Flow says the argument on Bruno is the same as De Gea and Rashi. They're here and now, and we have no better options. It's pedantic, arguing for change. My ideal 10 is an Ozil mold on the academy. It's clear it's not up to par. Priest says players like Bruno are solo acts of stat machines. You never hear Gundogan or Silva racking up stats like him, but they do on the pitch. What they do on the pitch is key. 100%. That's what I mean. Not one person has to get all them goals or assists if you get a cohesive unit. Choco Page says Newcastle have time on the training pitch. Simple. Don't lose sight. We're building. Our squad is so far from being complete. Hashtag open heart surgery. David T says, morning, lads. Don't know where you are, but good morning to you. Evening for us. Igalo or Tree Trunk, who runs at 9 times? Oh, I don't know. Diva says, Eric Ten Hag got it wrong. His team selection was the issue, but when he was with players like McTominay, who have had 22 touches against Newcastle playing in midfield, is the real issue. Bay says, talk about anyone but the captain. Priest of Banter says Sancho was already a flop. Bicilo says 350k a week. Sancho play all right. Nice one, Kenny. David T says Sancho is a number 10. Doesn't have the pace to be a left winger or right winger. Mark Gregg, thank you for joining the United Views Members Club as well. The latest member. Big up to you, Mark. Good to see you. Welcome to the family. K Flow says jury is out on Sancho. He has got one more season to prove himself. At the moment, he's giving me Lingard vibes, a player who needs time and space on the ball. Oregon says Sancho is a luxury player who will play better when we are dominating, like he showed in pre-season and in games where we are camped in the other half. Priest of Banter says Luke Shaw, new deal, cheaper to keep than replace. Charlie Boy Comics says Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho, Sancho, Facundo, Alanga, Diallo. Out of all these players, who stays, who goes in the summer? 7 players, 4 positions. Basilio says we're just 3 points better off compared to last season. And Joffrey says, KG, we're into Stofford's time. Hold on, because obviously KG is knackered and needs to go to sleep.
I still got to do a boxing stream and break down this AJ thing, fam.
To be honest, I'm going to tune into that just to see you struggle to get through it, because that's going to be really funny. His eyes are so puffy, they're red. You're done. You're done. And I love seeing you like this. It's funny. It's good. It's good to see. You are a hot mess.
I feel like crying, fam.
He did the inverted stretch as well. He went,
yeah. He is 5 things sleep, fam, says Lil Yo-Yo. 5
I
things
still
sleep.
got to do that show today as well, fam. I'm finished.
Yeah, good luck. Your eyes are red. Oh, mate. We need some of that medicine you got there, KG. What have you been taking, mate? I don't know. Yeah, some of that herbal medicinal, you know what I mean? I don't know. But yes, guys, we've come to the end of the show. We'll let KG get off. Big thanks to Kenny. Big thanks to Owen. Big thanks to Marcel for being persistent, at least. I'll give him that. And let's hope that Everton go and beat Spurs in about 50 minutes. So, yeah.
Don't hope on that, man. Kane is just going to turn up and ruin everyone.
Yeah, I just want to see them keep losing, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, but you're right. They'll probably win. Anyway, we're out of here, guys. Take care. Peace.